sitting out back having a Java cigar. Smell good, tastes good. You really do taste like a latte. There have been a Starbucks or whatever they call that progressist left-wing Marxist enterprise. Kind of tastes like one of those drinks you pay $6 for. Except this costs about a little bit more. I think they're $8 or $10 a pop, something like that. All I know is a case of them's like $250. Not a case, a box. So I spent most of the day listening to the news, catching up on my podcasts. I guess in all, it was a bit of a depressing day. You can't help but walk away from everything and not think that America's going to shit. Totally. I don't like to get political in these things because we get political people react emotionally. They don't think objectively. They don't behave objectively. It's like Donald Trump. I mean, I have good friends who just mention Trump and they melt down. Everything from his hair to his... The only question I ever have is why? Why such a vitriolic reaction to this person who, from an objective standpoint, just wanted to do good for the country? I'll never get that. But I need to comment today that what we have going on politically is unsustainable. A president who believes he has the power of the purse and a mass media who seemingly agrees with him. I guess the question is, are these people truly ignorant of the U.S. Constitution? Do they have any concept of it at all? It kind of reminds me of many moons ago, probably close to 20 years ago. I was in a hospital. And there was an effervescent young black girl who was in nursing school, and she made a comment about money, and we got into discussion of money, and she just couldn't let go of the idea that the reason wealthy people had money and she did not was because they were stingy, was because the people with money just wouldn't let the people without money have money. So I started to drill down on that. The root issue was she believed that money was just something that could be printed. She didn't comprehend or was ignorant of the reality that money ultimately has to link to something else. It needs to be backed by something. Gold. One time it was copper. But it has to be backed by something fractional or something tangible. And I'm not going to get into fractional banking and the whole history of that. That's just nuts. Because we really have screwed ourselves. So when you have a president who believes that a constitutional amendment stating that the United States must pay its debt, then arguing that gives him authority to spend and or create money, essentially issue bonds to create money, which is what the government has to do these days when they're, the last 30 years, deficit spending. That's all they do. They spend on a credit card and they never pay anything but the interest. They never pay down the principal. And if you think I'm wrong in that, go look it up, folks. With that in mind, especially in light of the fact that the Constitution declares in Article 1, I believe, I forget the section, that Congress has the sole authority to spend money, or at least approve the spending of money, not administrate. Administrating the spending of federal dollars is a different thing. I'm talking about the approval to spend the money in the first place. That, along with the issuing of laws, the constraints of the American system, that's pretty much the purpose of Congress. So we've already abdicated the process of creating laws to regulatory bodies and experts. They seem to know better than we do how to run our lives because, frankly, you and I, we're fucking idiots, right? We don't know anything. And only the experts. Most experts I've met in my life are idiots. The abdication of that by Congress, along with most of their other duties, and really the only one they had left was the authority to approve the expenditure of money by the federal government. With that no longer in existence, Congress may as well go on permanent recess, which leaves us with nothing other than the head of the administrative arm of government, and then the Supreme Court, which essentially does nothing other than say this is or is not constitutional, and that largely of late has been very political. If you have 5 progressive judges and 4 conservative judges, and it's a black and white liberal progressive issue versus conservative view of the issue, it always comes down to those lines. It always comes down to the political views of the members of the Supreme Court. And that also is unsustainable. So if our president gets away with issuing the approval of money for federal spending, which equates to issuing bonds to borrow the money that he doesn't have, if he's allowed to do that, we essentially no longer exist as a Republican form of government. We are no longer a republic. We are a dictatorship. Maybe that's what America wants. I don't want that. But maybe that's what the ignorant, I never got beyond the 3rd grade, and even if I did graduate high school, the level of education I received was the equivalent of that of a 3rd grader. Even if the excuses these people just do not understand. This is bad. This is very, very bad. It saddens me, which is why I'm sitting here on my deck. Peaceful evening, sound of music playing somewhere off in the distance. Sound travels a long way in the desert, so I can't be sure where it's coming from. And why I'm smoking my Java, which may have gone out. I don't know. Yes, the time I've been speaking to you, it went out. So with that, I think I'll leave it. America apparently wishes to go up in flames, just like the tip of this cigar. Till it's just a smoldering pile of political ash run by a bunch of opportunistic assholes. God bless America. Good night.